right, so hello everyone. Welcome to Commander Transaction. Today we're going to be going over how essentially everything starts from adding contacts to command all the way to how you'll get paid and get that commission request approved. So if everyone's good to go, we will go ahead and get started. So first things first, if you have never seen this screen before, that's a problem in and of itself. This is command. This is where everything will be taking place. So where you want to go is agent.kw.com. And if you haven't saved your usernames and passwords, please let us know so that we can take care of that for you. But what you're going to do is you're going to log in. And it'll bring you to your dashboard. So before we really dive deep into anything, what we want to do is check that Docusign has been connected to your command account. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on our name in the top right hand corner. And from here, we're going to go down to where it says settings. Okay. So once we click on that, it brings us to a connected applications page. And the first thing that you should see is Docusign and your current status. So some of you or most of you should have connected currently as your current status. Some of you might have in progress, and luckily next to that, it'll bring you to authorize how your account could then get connected. In the case that it does say disconnected, again, please let us know, but everyone on the call right now, it does say connected, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yep,
So
connected.
at the moment, so as long as your Docusign account says connected, that means that you're all good to go. So from here, where we're going to be going is back to the dashboard, so no one really gets confused as to where we're going or the home. And in order to really get to Docusign, what we want to do is we want to go to our contacts first, because what we're creating is what's called an opportunity, and that opportunity will then allow us to access or jump to Docusign.
Now, for the purposes of this, just so I don't create things under my team for these demos, I'm just going to switch myself to my personal account. So.
And another important note is if you are on a team, and let's say that you created an opportunity for a contact under the wrong account, you aren't able to then switch them over. You would have to just create the opportunity under the separate account. But like I was saying before, we want to go to the contacts applet. And if this is a contact that isn't in your database, what you want to do is create a contact separately. So from here, this is kind of a separate thing, but it's very simple. All you're doing is putting the contact's full name in, their email address, their phone number, and if you have any other information for the contact, you can go ahead and also tag them. You can add more information, so you can add a physical address if they have another preferred method of contact, etc. But again, if it's a contact that's already been put into your database, what we want to do is then search for the contact's name. So in this case, we'll exit the contact's card. And we'll search for the contact in the database. So Kevin and I have already gone ahead and created a contact. Oops. Okay. So being that the contact's in the database already, we'll go ahead and we'll click on the contact's name. And as you can see on the left-hand side of the contact's card, it gives the contact's information. So if there was a phone number there, it would also show up. We can see that we have an email address here. Underneath, if we keep scrolling down, we do have a physical address with the contact or a neighborhood assigned. So that's the left side of the contacts card. Over on the right-hand side, we're currently under the timeline tab. But what we want to do in this case is we want to create an opportunity for the contact. So right next to where it says timeline, there is the opportunities tab. So we're going to go ahead and we'll click on opportunities. And from here, if this is a brand new contact, there have been no opportunities created, we'll click that create opportunity button. And it will bring us to an opportunity card. So before we move on, are there any questions up to this point? Okay. Okay, so for the Market Center, it already defaults to our Wayne Market Center. Like I was saying before, if you are on a team where it says select team, you will be able to then choose if this is a personal or a team opportunity. However, if you aren't on a team, you won't have that option to choose. Opportunity type, we'll go ahead and change that from listing to buyer. But again, if it wasn't a buyer and it was a seller, you would leave it as listing. Owner in this case is you yourself as the agent. Again, if you are on a team, it would be the rainmaker as the owner. Client will be the contact's name. Co-buyer would just show up if there was a relationship attached to the contact. But if this is just an individual, again, you don't need to worry about inputting anything in the co-buyer. Opportunity name will be the contact's name with the opportunity type. And then we as leadership ask for compliance reasons to go ahead and put a property address with the opportunity name, just so that when Lisa, Kieran, or Allison is then looking this up for compliance, it'll make things a lot easier and smoother. So in this case, we'll go ahead and we'll do the classic 123 Main Street. And if we keep scrolling down, the only other things that we need to attach to this contacts card is the commission rate. So that's your own side of the commission. So in this case, either the 2.5 or the 3%, again, depending on if you're on a team, whatever it's structured. Opportunity phase, cultivate an appointment is more so for if you're kind of nurturing the lead. But active is if you're actively working with the buyer or seller. So we'll change the opportunity phase, in this case, to an active buyer. And then for the opportunity, what is it, checklist or stage?
Yeah, stage. Since you're putting it all for now, we'll go to negotiations.
Yeah.
But the point of the system is that the moment you're in touch with a client or someone, you should be putting them into the system already, and they should be at a cultivate stage until you get to the point of showing them stuff.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
So anything with a red asterisk in the opportunity card means that it needs to be completed before creating the opportunity. So since we've gone ahead and we've filled all of that out, we'll go ahead and we'll click create. And as you can see over on the right hand side now, it'll give you the date of when the opportunity has been created. So after we've created the opportunity, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll click on that. And it will bring you to the opportunity section within Command. So your screen will look something like this. Again, the general information is where we just filled out that opportunity card within the contact section. If you keep scrolling down, you get to see if you did put in a budget, or again, if this was a seller, you put in the sales price, it'll give you a fake commission rate, just because again, it's not taking into like royalties or any deductions or bonuses at the moment. And then over on the right hand side, for later purposes, you can go ahead and put the property in. And this is more so for when you're filling out any documents or forms to Docusign. This will then auto-populate to where the information is required in said documents or forms. So in this case, if we're doing 123 Main Street, we'll go ahead and we'll type that in. I know there's one in Patterson.
There's a main something in Wayne, so let's see which one it is.
Main Road.
We'll
Main
just do
Ave.
Main Road.
Okay.
All of the day.
So yeah, once we've selected that, everything else will then sync up, and we'll click save.
I have a quick question.
Yep.
I'm back at the new, my contacts. Where did you find create opportunity?
Okay, so
I'm
Just-
sorry,
something like this.
hold on. So if I go on opportunity, okay. So that's after you create the person, you put the information in, correct?
So does your screen look like this with the contact?
Yes, now it does. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Anyone else have any questions before we continue with the opportunity section?
Yes, I do. So I'm in that page right now, but I want to edit for example, the commission rate. How do I change it? Because I'm looking for an edit.
Up top, so there's a
Oh.
pencil.
Yep,
I just saw the pencil. It was like faded pencil. Okay, got it.
there you go.
Thanks.
And then anyone else?
Now, how do I get to where you are, this screen from my, so click on opportunities?
Yeah, did you already create an opportunity?
It just, oh, create, now I have to press create opportunity, correct?
Yes.
Okay, create, I'm sorry, create. Okay, go ahead. I think I'm caught up.
Okay, so after the opportunity is created, your screen will look something like this. Where we then access Docusign is right in the middle of the screen where it says Documents. We'll click that tab. And this is where it's gonna ask for a checklist type that we need to work with. So once we click on Pick Checklist Type with that little upside down triangle, what we wanna do is select Residential Purchase,
I'm sorry, Christina. Where did you? What tab did you get on?
Documents.
Oh, okay, got it.
And then from there, Pick Checklist Type is all the way over on the left-hand side.
You've
Okay.
already selected whether or not it's a purchase or a sale, so it auto populates.
Yeah.
To listing documents or purchase documents.
Got it.
Now, I created the opportunity and I created it and hold on, I might be wrong. I might have found it where it is. Sorry. Got it. I find it. Go ahead.
You're good?
I'm good.
Okay. Again, stop us at any time if you have any other question.
Okay.
So after we've selected the checklist type, like Joe had said, it then tells you what documents are required by the Market Center. So as you can see over on the right-hand side, it'll tell you the requirements. So statement of disclosures is required. Some of them are conditionally required. Some of them are optional. But anything in red will tell you that it needs to be uploaded in order to submit to the Market Center. So to then get to Docusign, that black bar at the top where it says start a transaction, if we click on that, it will give you two options. So number one, there's Docusign, and number two, there's .loop. Being that we're transitioning away from .loop, we want to select Docusign.
It will only give you the two options if you have .loop connected. So some of you might not be seeing .loop connected. Don't worry about that. It's not important.
Okay.
You have Docusign .loop there. Can you click on .loop, get the stuff, and just like jump it over on Docusign?
No. Please do not do.
Please don't.
Please
Okay.
do not.
That's the one I wanted to hear.
Do not do that.
.loop is going to be a thing of the past.
Stable it.
Yeah.
I only have it connected for training purposes.
Kevin and I were shaking. When we heard that, we're like, no.
Don't ever say that. Out loud.
All right, let's move on. Real quick though, once you click on transaction, because it's not showing up on my account, because just the way I'm doing the demo account. For some of you guys, you'll have a pop-up that says sync transaction. So if you're in a account, it'll say listing agent and it'll say listing agent, well, buying agent, depending on what you chose along the way. So it'll give you a pop-up to add in the rainmaker and then you in that contract there. So just choose the rainmaker as number one and then choose you for whatever your teams deem good for their team, whatever the rainmaker says, pretty much. So All right, Christina?
Okay, so, yeah, once you click start a transaction, make sure to click Docusign. And it'll then jump you to a separate tab that will ask you for your login information.
Now, is
So-
this login information the same? Or did we create this?
I'm wondering, how long ago did Scott create,
For her,
Docusign accounts?
for her particular account, I don't think Scott Leroy was doing it at the time that her account was set up, so. Let's go back to settings really quick.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know what email address that is, email address is right here, so.
Okay,
It'll just be it's kevinsmith@kw.com is the email address. So if you don't have that connected, we can connect, Christina can connect with you, and then we can get that connected if that's not currently connected. But for all the new agents starting in like December, Scott Leroy has already connected these for you.
So yeah, we'll go ahead, we'll put in the email address as well as the password. And once we log in, a lot of the forms will then drop in to the Docusign room. I do have a question. However, if this is their first time going into Docusign, do they still need to put their NRDS ID in?
Okay, yes, so if it's your first time going into DocuSign, you'll see a pop-up to put your NERDS number in. And then it'll have an option for you to search, if you don't know what your NERDS number is, to search, because you won't be able to see the state documents without having your NERDS number attached to your DocuSign account. And that has to be done on an individual basis.
Okay. However, if you have previously logged into Docusign, all of the documents after you've picked that checklist type will then autofill into your room here. So being that we've gone ahead and we've selected that this is a purchase, we haven't selected any of the documents. They've already just dropped into the room. So there are about 12 documents in here that you would then go ahead and fill out. 2 ways in which you can then fill out these documents. Number one, if you actually click on each form or template that you have in the room, you can fill it out that way. So for example, if you wanted to do the contract of sale.
I'm sorry, I have a million questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
How did you get those documents there?
After you've picked the checklist type and you click start a transaction, they should have already fallen into the room.
So I have to go back to my commands and do something? Is that what I have to do with all those documents that were there? Oh,
What does
yeah,
your screen currently look like?
No, I'm on the DocuSign room, you know, and then it just, there's nothing there. It says add documents to your room.
Okay, so your NERDS number might not be connected to DocuSign then.
Okay,
So we might have to do that separately then.
okay.
For those that the documents haven't dropped in, you can just add, go to Docusign Forms. And these are groups that we created for you guys. And then this is the entire library. So if you need anything else that are outside of those groups, you can always pull from those. But these are the groups that we just created to make it easy for you guys. And then a bunch of various addendums as well, in case you guys need it. So if you're not able to see a particular document, that means that your NERDS number is not connected. If it does say in use and you don't see anything in there, just refresh your page because something might have went wrong in your browser per se. You can only drop these documents in once.
Well, they're there now after I refresh.
Okay, so something must have lagged in the browser.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
No problem.
I have a question. Can we put these docs in the order that we want it, or do we have to send
Oh.
them around?
In this section, no, I'll show you how to do it later.
Okay. And then I think I asked you this before. and of course I remember, but like, for example, right now I have this that I just downloaded, which is KWP statement disclosure. Can I take this? I can't override onto the existing one, right?
We could do that. We could put like signatures on there, yeah. Oh, on the existing one that's there? No, you cannot.
You know what I mean? Like how you could do it, no, I think you said no to, okay.
Yeah, no, you
I
cannot.
remember.
No.
I have a quick question. So I have a couple of contacts already that I put in. And now when I click one of the contacts and I go to opportunities, and then I open up the opportunity, I get all the information that I need, like, and then I go to documents, and then I go to transaction, and it gives me, let's see, an assignee was unable to be invited to your Docusign room. Please invite from Docusign or contact support if the issue persists.
Oh, that's new. I'm sorry. We're gonna have to look into that and see what that is. Are you able to do a screenshot of?
I'm actually in the office. I'm in Francis's room.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I did see you come in. Yeah, that's an odd thing. We'll have to look at that separately.
Okay, you got it.
Okay, so like I had said, there's two ways in which you can fill out the form. So number one, if you were to go ahead and actually click on the form, similar to how you filled them out, kind of like in Dotloop, you can fill them out that way. Or another way, so if you look at the top, we're currently under the Documents tab. To the left of it, where it says Details, if we click on that, this is then another way in which we can fill out the forms. So we'll just click the Edit button over on the right-hand side. And we'll go ahead and fill out, if you keep scrolling down, there's offer information, location, I think close, as well as the buyer, seller, buyer agent, listing agent information over all the way on the right-hand side. So it's pretty much your preference as to how you want to fill out these documents. Another thing is that, let's say you filled something out in the Details tab or the Documents tab. You don't need to then go back to one or the other, because what it does is Docusign recognizes where each field is. So if you fill it out in one place, it would then auto-populate to the other.
And what I like to do when I'm doing these, just to make sure I'm finished with a tab, is I just like to close up the tabs with the information in there. None of the documents really need some of these information. So my advice to everybody always is know your documents so you know what to fill out. And some of these things, not everything pertain to us in New Jersey. This is pretty much an international thing. So, or actually, they do Canada too. So yeah, I can still say international. So some of these things won't pertain to things on the contracts, and so this doesn't pertain to us.
Yeah. So like I was saying, everything kind of auto-populates. Same thing with forms. If you fill something out in one form, you don't need to then fill everything out in the other forms. It, like I was saying, it recognizes where each field and like where everything's required. So you can kind of use like a contract or one form as a master form, where most of the information would then autofill into the rest of them. But our note is also to just make sure to go back and double check that everything has been filled and completed. So once everything's been input, we'll go ahead and click Save down at the bottom of the right-hand side. And we can go back to the Documents tab. Okay. So I think Kevin filled out one section in the Details tab where he wants to pull it up in the Documents tab. Is that what you were doing?
I just want to make sure that
I
I
pulled over.
save, because sometimes I don't click save, but I did this time anyways. And just like anything else, you do just have to go back through the contract, make sure whatever is checked off needs to be checked off, and put in whatever information is needed, just like filling out any other contract. But as you can see, Peter Griffin's already here. that was what I put in the details section, so that populates over. And any of the details that were there, they didn't have lot and block in there, so just have to put that in. And then all of the financials, you'll have to put in as well.
The envelope is only used if you need signatures, right?
Yes.
Like if you have something already signed, then you just download it and then upload it.
Yeah,
Okay.
from
Alright.
Dotloop.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean.
You don't actually need to
Also the
cross
old people
over.
that
If-
don't,
If
you
you have
know,
old
you know.
transaction already finished doing in Dotloop, finish those in Dotloop,
Mhm.
you don't have to transfer them to Docusign.
Time to cut
Just
the
do
cord.
new transactions only in Docusign.
Oh,
You don't have
so-
to transfer them over.
Oh, I shouldn't add, like, even though they're already done, I should add them in there just to have.
No,
have it there.
yeah.
No.
We encourage that, like, if you have something in Dotloop,
Mhm.
finish it out in Dotloop so that you can start everything organically from command to
How
DocuSign.
about, a situation where you and I entered a new account into DocuSign. I forgot I did that with you, and then I realized, wait a minute, why is this in Dotloop? I thought it was in Dotloop, so I.
You created it in Dotloop? Okay, well, like Kieran had said,
Cut the cord.
cut the cord.
That's it, it's time to go.
Because the more that
DocuSign it
people
is.
rely on Dotloop, the
Uh-huh.
more that they're gonna stray away from DocuSign.
Yes,
And once we officially as a market center then cut the cord with Dotloop, people are
Then you're
just gonna
stuck.
be
You're gonna be like,
completely
oh my
like,
God.
how am I gonna do this?
yeah.
So that's
Fish
why
out
I'm
of water.
stressing, yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
actually
why-
really nice, like, I hated it a couple weeks ago, I've done a couple transactions in it, and it's like super easy.
Yeah, I totally forgot that we did it together, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why isn't this in Dotloop? And I just like put everything in there.
Hey, Kevin, I got a question for you. When I go to press start transaction, it pops up DocuSign, but it never actually takes me off. Do I have like a blocker on or something?
It's not taking you to DocuSign.
It's not
from
taking me
command.
to DocuSign at all from command.
You probably do.
Yeah, you probably have like a
Yeah.
pop-up block or something like that, maybe on your browser.
Yeah.
Or you're on Chrome?
Yeah.
Alright, I'd have to look at that and see exactly trial and error through that process.
Manage your Google account.
But if anything, just open a new tab for now. And then just go to DocuSign, because it should have sent over a new room.
Anyone else have any questions? Any issues that have come up along the way? Okay. So once all the forms have been completed and we now want to send these out for signature, we can go ahead and check that little circle in the top left-hand corner of each form or document that you would want to be sent out. So if Kevin wants to send out multiple or just one, he'll go ahead and click the little circle.
The other thing, just really quick, for buyer's side, notice I didn't set it to drop in the forms for seller's disclosure or the lead paint. So you'd have to get those and then upload those in there. And the way you do that, you would download it from the MLS and then add it from the computer if you needed to. So wherever they're located, I don't think I have any documents on here. Something here. Or just drop in some random thing here.
PowerPoint.
So then that, it's a PowerPoint document. Hold on, sorry. Apologies. Actual PDF. All right, this is- Either way, if you put a document in there by mistake, you can just check on it and click delete.
Oh, really?
Hold on, I have to uncheck all the other ones first.
So I don't have to bother Kieran to archive certain things?
Nope.
Before she So everyone's
First great
glad to hear it.
question.
And I don't have to bother Lisa with green sheets?
No, green sheets
No,
are,
it's super easy right in here too. so
yeah, nope,
don't take
Kieran's-
the
You
stage.
just do
Yeah,
the
yeah.
offers and commissions,
So
thing,
easy.
right?
Well, yeah, let's get through that and we'll show you how that process goes.
Yeah.
All right, so let's check a couple of forms just to make this quick for,
Now, this is
For
what
us
you're
here.
doing is you're gonna put it in an envelope so you can send it out for signature.
correct.
Got it.
See, you can teach this class.
Yeah.
It's like It's like, it's like
You
mailing
click
out,
it and you hit edit,
mailing it
right?
out.
It
It's an
is.
envelope.
So yeah, like Saray and Kevin had said, if you're then sending it out and or mailing it out, you're gonna go to the top next to where it says active documents, and there's kind of like a bulk action tag up there. Right in the middle, that little pen icon, if you hover over it, it says create envelope. So we're gonna go ahead and click on that. And this is how we're then sending them out. So envelope name, that's just for you to remember it. This is not what your client is seeing. So in this case, if you wanted to name it the street address, you can go ahead and change it from please Docusign to the actual property. And then right below where it says add documents to the envelope, this will then show you all the documents that you've gone ahead and selected. You are also able to then move them around. So if you wanted the contract to be the first thing that they see or sign, you just drag it. You can also view the document to see if it's been completed. Just doing a one over.
We'll do that on the sign.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you don't need to do it.
Yeah, so you don't need to do it now, but if you keep scrolling down, we've gone ahead, and the next thing is then adding recipients to the envelope. So if we click add recipient, one of the things that should show up is pre-tagged roles, and this is something that we need to make sure that we check. So once we do pre-tagged roles, it then identifies each role in the form, and we, as the agent, are then specifying who the recipient is. So for buyer one, being that the information has been pulled in from command, it already has the email address. So we'll check off who buyer one and buyer two is. You as the buyer agent, you're gonna go ahead and also select your email address. And I know that people have been asking if they need to send it to Kieran. Who would they go ahead and check this off for? For the seller, I think for
When they're doing a listing and they need to send over some documents.
yeah.
So it'll have, each document will have, so in this document, we don't have anything that specifically says for broker, but it'll say broker or
It's like admin.
or the broker or admin or something like that, it will say.
It said Kieran, it didn't say.
But
admin.
Kieran, yeah.
No, it'll say a title of the person, so it'll say either broker or admin, and then you can go ahead and then choose Kieran here.
And make sure to
okay.
choose Kieran and not the KW admin.
What documents are required to, that need to go by Kieran?
So on the listing side, you're gonna need the listing agreement, and the New Jersey delayed showing, if you're doing a delayed showing. What else, Kieran, do you get?
A lot. Well, if you just go to the packet, it'll tell you.
Usually
It'll
say
tell you.
what's required.
Yeah, it'll say what's required. If you go to the list, when you initially go to select the document.
Yeah.
That folder.
No, but no, in terms of what you need to sign.
I only need the listing. I only need the listing agreement and the New Jersey delayed showing.
Yeah, those are probably the only two
I
on a
have,
listing.
I have a quick question. Where you selected buyer agent and Kevin Smith, can you, if you work on a team, do we have to check something else, or we would have to check our name?
So it'll depend on your rainmaker. So Jose, for is Francis going to be the one signing all documents, or each individual agents are able to sign their own?
Documents are all prepared by the agents and we sign off on it.
And you sign off on it. So yes, you would choose Francis or whatever email it's going to go to get to. Yes. So choose whatever your team designates you to do.
Okay.
Okay, so we've selected each role. So we'll click add selected down at the bottom. And now each recipient will then drop in. You can see each role or permission is saying that the recipient needs to sign. In the case that they only need to view it or receive a copy, you are able to determine that permission. But for the most part, just leave it as needs to sign. Also, if it was a document in which you didn't want everyone to view, you can also add an access authentication code and or a private message. So only one or however many recipients are seeing what you're sending them. last thing is message to all recipients. So this is what the email subject and message would be coming through to their inbox. So this is where you then determine what they're seeing when they receive it. So once everything within the envelope has been filled out, we'll click the yellow next at the top right-hand corner.
I'm sorry, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
I know some documents like the lead paint and stuff like that, when I send it over via .loop, there's an option where it's sign or then edit and sign. When they sign it, are they able to kind of edit if they need to?
If there's a field that you need them to edit, we can add that in this section here that we are right now. If it's, but for the most part,
Like there should be a radio button on the lead paint.
yeah, there should be a radio button. So I'll show you how to drop in a radio.
Okay, they're able to click on that because I know with .loop, if you don't assign edit and sign, then they'll just be able to sign but not be able to like click on the.
Yeah. So as long as you put in the radio button and set it to their particular names, I'll show you how to do that. We're actually right on target right now.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Same thing with, I believe it's the seller's disclosure, where
Yes,
there's a bunch of different buttons that you would have to then go ahead and sometimes assign. Whereas once we've selected the pre-tagged roles, what that does is it also recognizes, in addition to the signing fields, where the signers or recipients would then need to go ahead and check things off. So whether that was a checkbox, a text box, or radio box, where that person would then need to fill it out for completion. Also, there are different colors for each recipient. So as you can see, Kevin is yellow, so that would be for the agent, and then blue and purple for both of the buyers. I know you had something that you wanted to add.
I have one question. So I know we were just talking about the seller's disclosure. So I'm looking at that form and where the prospective buyer would have to sign, it's blank. So how do we, like usually on .loop, we add, add signature and you just put their signature in? How come this doesn't do that?
Where are you? Are you in the same location we are right now?
Yes.
So you're talking about the seller's initial here, like?
No, on the seller's disclosure
Yeah.
that I downloaded.
Oh, you gotta add it. If you're down.
Yeah, if you didn't assign a buyer to the room or the envelope, then it wouldn't pull in where a prospective buyer or seller would then sign. If that
I
makes
did. And
Okay.
every,
Is
So-
it an internal document, like like
Yeah.
a seller disclosure off the listing, you would have to add all the fields.
Yes.
Right.
So when you upload a PDF, like I'll show you this one that was next on my list here. All right, so this is a PDF that we uploaded. The system doesn't know where signatures are supposed to go, so you have
Okay.
to put it on there. So with a seller's disclosure, you would have to drop in. So let's pretend this is a seller's disclosure. We just choose and then drop in that signature space. And then you can drop in a date as well, wherever it needs to go. And then you can do that for each signature that needs to be on that particular document.
Okay.
Yeah, so if it's not a form or a template, or when you're selecting add forms into the initial room, and it says computer and then Docusign Forms, if you don't select Docusign Forms, let's say you selected computer, you're always pretty much then gonna have to add a signature, an initial, or a date sign, because it then doesn't recognize where you would need to sign date or initial.
Yeah, it doesn't know what that form is.
So as a buyer's agent, you're gonna do it a lot, because you're gonna be doing lead paint and selling disclosure like every deal.
So speaking of that, so lead paint is, so for instance, where you have the checkbox that you need to check off, you'll need to go to do, so just keep in mind that a checkbox are for multiple things. So if you want to do a checkbox here, and then a radio button is for choosing pretty much one thing, one or the other.
Right.
So if you needed to, you can, expand it as far as you need to expand it.
What do you mean by one or the other?
So with
It's
check
a yes or
boxes,
no.
you can.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like lead paint, yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yes or no?
Do you waive it, do you not waive it?
So you would use, radio button, these are radio buttons. So now with these radio buttons, they're actually required in here. And then you would make them required to whoever needs to sign them. So that'll be the buyer. And it only allows you to do pretty much one here, but what you want to do is, so either or can answer that question. Is you want to go to collaboration, and then pretty much anybody that receives that document can answer this question here. So I suggest use radio buttons for those lead paint forms.
So when I click on it, it means yes. Is that what that is for? Like.
Whatever the
No,
question is
got it.
asking, I just say yes or no because it's either or answer. So it's either you got
Also,
it,
when
you
they
got a
click on
10-day.
it, they're gonna have the option to say yes or no.
Essentially, yes.
Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
so
Because
it's
from
either
here, you
you're,
can't see that, so that's what I was wondering. Okay.
yeah, you're either waiving your right to the lead paint or you receive the pamphlet type of thing.
Got it.
All right, any questions with these?
Yeah.
So there's only a required field and read only, like options.
Yeah,
Okay, so what if it's in like optional? Like if, like I've seen that on something before.
if it's optional that they do it,
Yeah.
then just uncheck the required field.
Oh, okay, okay.
All of the day. And then, if it's something read only, so if you edit it, if you got to this point and you needed to add some text to the document, you can go ahead and add text to the document here. Now I'm getting into Christina's territory now.
Right.
And then you can just make that read only. That means they can't edit it. If you want to just add in some text on there that you don't want them to edit, but then it needs to be on the contract. And then leave it under your name.
So will that come up on the final document?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But if you needed them to edit or put something in the text box, then you just choose who it is, and then you would change that and then make the field required. So, and then use collaboration if you needed either one of them to answer. All right, back to Christina.
Okay, so if you've gone ahead and you've read this over, one of the last things you can do is you can click recipient preview at the top so that you can then see what each person would be seeing in their inbox. So if you wanted to change who you're viewing it as, just click on viewing as and then select either the buyer or seller. So at the top, you can see it's desktop view, tablet, phone, whatever view. And then there is also a yellow start button on the left-hand side of the screen.
Whenever it comes
Whenever,
back.
yeah.
Come back. Why?
Yeah.
I
So,
think I made the screen too big.
so if we see there's that yellow start button, and if you just click start, it then jumps down to where each signer is required. So we'll go ahead, we'll see where in each document they would have to sign, date, or initial.
Please tell people to read things.
Yeah, and not just going.
Because everybody literally
aimlessly.
does this anyways.
Yeah.
People said the exact same thing. Please don't just sign it on your phone, actually.
Yeah.
And then, so if you had set them to fill in this, they can go ahead and fill in whatever they need to fill in right here.
Okay, so once that's all been completed, there, it should
What
give
did I
a
miss?
yellow finish
Radio.
button. Oh,
Oh, the radio, do I still have?
Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't have it for there. Don't know what I missed. I missed something. I'm not clicking.
but yeah, again, you can just go ahead and see what the buyer or seller is then seeing.
Okay,
So all the documents are good to go. Lucy, you have a question?
yes. So, okay, so now I'm viewing and I say, oh my God, there's one spot that I forgot to add, like that, again, where you're on the seller's disclosure, where I have to, add it, where they have to sign. Can I go back?
Can you
Yes,
go
so-
back and add a signature, you're asking?
Yes,
Yeah,
So
okay,
you close out of that. If you scroll back all the way up to the top, I already clicked it, but there was an X when you're in that preview. So if you close out of that and then you realize, okay, you needed to add somebody here, you can go right ahead, choose the person that you need to add, and then add their signature in there.
got it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
okay, so if we like the way that this looks, the last thing that we'll do is we'll just click send in the top right-hand corner.
Hold on 1 second, because I'm gonna trip myself up when I do all of this. I'm just gonna delete this for demo purposes.
Yeah.
Last quickly, just kind of like highlight and use.
Yeah, so if you need to delete a box, you just highlight them and delete them if you needed to delete anything out. All right, so let's go back to Christina.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll click send. And after it sends, it brings you to a page where it will say waiting for others. So where you're seeing right underneath the date 3 and 3, that means that there are 3 documents in the envelope that have been sent out for signature, and there are 3 people that then need to go ahead and sign. So for right now, Kevin's gonna go ahead, he's gonna open up the envelope on his phone. He's gonna then sign it, so that we can then see that these are signed documents that we can upload to Command. In the meantime, some of you guys may be asking, how do I know when the signer or when the buyers or sellers receive this in their inbox? How do I know if they've opened it? What you would then do is just click on the envelope. And where it says sign, correct, or more, if we click more, we then see where it says view envelope history. So this is where you can see Kevin created the envelope, he sent it out for signature, he also received it, and then buyer 1 and 2 both received the envelope on said date and time. So as you can see, it'll also show you when they've opened it, so that you know, hey, I know that it's been sent, I know that it's been opened, can you please speed the process along?
Sign and send it
Don't
now.
just, yep, don't just wait. But in the meantime, as Kevin's signing, are there any questions on anything that we've covered to this point?
So when you can come back. Oh, unless somebody else has questions, I could go that. Okay. And so what I did was actually, I did the other way, this way instead of the boxes.
Oh,
So my question is like right now, for example, I uploaded the listing agreement, right?
Mhm.
Can I delete the listing agreement they have in there and just keep mine that I uploaded from the PDF?
you're saying can you delete the
Because
form
I
or the
have
template?
two, because like I have a listing agreement right here and I have one right here. And this is the one that's signed. So I want to, like, can I get rid of this?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's just the form or the template.
Okay, so what do I do? Just click on it and then,
So is it different from like the dot loop where you kind of replace it? So
Yeah.
basically you're just deleting the document, leaving the.
yeah, because with dot loop, you could override it, but with this you can't, so I want to delete it.
Can you, well, when Sarah's done.
Oh, I just want to see how she deletes it.
Oh, no, yeah, you just click the little circle to the left of it,
Oh, and then go to the,
and then
okay.
click delete.
Oh, nice. Oh, perfect.
All right, so just a quick question. So once the stuff is signed, it goes back into the system, and you're gonna have both the things that you've uploaded and then the signed stuff, right? So we should just get rid of delete the stuff that's not signed because it's no longer needed, right?
you don't have to delete the forms. We'll show you how to organize yourself with that. You don't necessarily have to delete them.
Oh,
So
okay.
We'll show you how to do that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, make a folder. Yeah, you can go ahead and create a folder.
So if you don't like the way that it looks, because it can come as like a little cluttered, so I know that sometimes it'll say form signed, form signed, form signed. If you don't like how that looks, all you would need to do is just click actions next to add. And then you have the option to add a folder. So in this case, if we wanted to create a folder of just the signed documents so that you don't have to then like filter through what's a signed form and what's just a template. What you do is if the keyboard wants to work, there we go, is we can then create a folder with signed docs. So we'll go ahead and we'll click create. So as you can see, we have a room docs folder and we also have a signed docs folder. So if we wanted to move, let's say, one document at a time, you can just drag it and drop it over. Or you can also move multiple at a time. So we'll click the little circle in the top left-hand corner. And then once we have those checked off, we will go up to this bulk tag option up here. We'll click move. And it's asking where we want to then move these to. So we currently want to move one folder or our current room to the signed documents folder. And again, it will show you which documents that you're moving. So once we click move, they've then gone from your room docs to the signed docs. So it's just a lot more organized this way.
So I forgot the lot.
I have another question.
Yes.
So if you put someone as needs to view under a document, when will they be able to view that document? Will it be when they sign it, when the other people sign it?
Needs to view would only be,
Needs to view, they'll receive it at the same time. Everybody will receive it
Yeah.
at the same time.
At the same time, so they won't get it after they sign it.
you can determine the order in which people sign it. So when you're adding recipients to the envelope, most of the time they all just drop in and they have ones next to their names. However, if you want to make sure that the person who only needs to view it is last, you'll then just put how many people would then be in the envelope. I don't know if that's coming across as the way that it's like being described
No,
as.
that's exactly what you do.
Okay.
If you go back to the,
Yeah.
can you go back to the signature page and show her like?
So you want the client to sign first before the actual admin?
Yeah.
You're able to,
Like if I was
It-
creating a
it-
new envelope,
yeah, it puts it as just 111, but you can change it to, like Christina's saying.
You might have to create a new envelope.
Yeah.
Back to,
You do.
just as
Back
an
to the-
example, if I go to sign docs and I do like the contract or something, I'll add selected. And then once we do the recipient, pre-tag roles, I'll go ahead and do buyer one, buyer two. But let's say that I only wanted one person to be viewing it and one person to be signing it. If you have multiple people in the envelope where these most of the time drop in as one, all you would then do is change the one. This keyboard never works.
it's acting up again.
Yes, you would either do 4, 5, 6, and then where it says needs to view, just make sure that the last person in the envelope is then changed to needs to view, so that once all the signatures have been dropped in, they're only viewing it.
Oh, okay. So you put the 2 in order to have them get it next after that person.
Yeah, just they would be the last person who you would want added to the envelope.
But the buyer will be able to sign it even though you have them as needs to view,
Yeah,
right?
they just want to be
Yeah.
able to view it until after those other.
Okay,
Got
thank you.
Christina and Kevin, I have a question.
Yep.
So if you want to add a document and you have more than one folder, I've not yet found the way where you can add it into the folder you want. It always goes into the default folder. Is there a way to specify what folder when you add a document?
No, you cannot. It'll always drop in in the back-end system, it's called a root folder. It'll always
Mhm.
drop the root folder, although they named it the room folder there, so.
That's
yes.
fine.
Yeah,
Okay, and to the person who said perhaps they wanted to eliminate the unsigned ones, which is possible, but you might not want to do it like if you submitted a purchase offer and then you wanted to increase the purchase offer after some negotiation, you'd want to have the unsigned ones so you could just, change your offer slightly and then make a new envelope and send it out again, right?
Exactly.
That's why we don't encourage people to delete the forms.
Right, so, yeah. But you can organize it so that it can make sense and you wrap your brain around everything, so. So
Correct.
I have one more question. I'm trying to cut the cord, as I heard you said, with dot loop, but I've not yet found the KW commission statement template, which is kind of important in Docusign. Does it exist somewhere?
I'll have to double check. I thought I did put it in there. It doesn't calculate as I have set it in Dotloop. I have to reach out to Docusign to see if we're able to make it.
Okay, I mean, I don't even see a blank one at all in the KW documents folder. So I've been using the the dot loop one and then just, bringing it over. So, okay.
Yeah, well, unless they just didn't upload it, because I sent them a whole pack.
Yeah, it's before we cut the cord, we kind of want to have the commission statement.
Oh, okay, mission statement, right here.
Oh, there it is. Jeez. So now, I don't know how long it's been there, but I swear it wasn't there the last time I looked, so.
Oh, yeah, no, it should have been there a while ago.
Third form down, good. I'll remember that. Right after the W-9, love it.
So,
Wait, I just, it's not document finder then, how'd you get that?
add document.
Oh, got it, okay. And, got it.
Alright,
Mm.
so,
Okay,
hold on one second. So someone's
Here we
stuck.
Okay, so the documents that we sent out for signature, they've been signed. What we would like to do from this point forward is, you want to go back to command? Is that what we're doing?
Actually, before we go back to command, I just want to show you guys something really quick. So let's say you got everything signed as a buyer's agent and you need to send this off to the other agent, and then they want you to send it in one PDF or something like that. Check off that, check off the ones that you need, and then you can go to combine. And then you can go ahead and rearrange the order as you see fit with the documents that you want. And then whatever it is that you want to name this as, contract of sale, 1, 2, 3, Main Street. And you go ahead and save that. And this reloads.
Yeah, I'm totally lost. I was done.
And then you can then check that off and then download that and send that to where you need to send it. The system does also allow you to email directly out of there, but I know a lot of people would prefer to have a PDF. So go ahead and download that. So I just wanted to give you that quick note. So, but back to Christina.
Okay, so like I had said, the documents that we sent out for signature have been signed. So what we want to do is, since we're in the Docusign tab, we want to just go back to the command tab. So this screen should look familiar, being that this is where we went ahead and checked off that checklist type, where we clicked start a transaction. So now we actually just want to upload the documents. So if you wanted to upload them manually or one by one, over on the right hand side, it'll say file and then add a file. And this is where you're then only adding each file at a time. But if you're attaching multiple files, right to where it says submit market center, we would just click attach multiple files. And it already has it pre-selected as manual, but if we want to select the forms from Docusign, which is where they were signed, we'll go right in the middle to where it says Docusign, and we'll match up where the signed forms would then be uploaded, if that makes sense.
So if you had any of these documents that were signed, let's just pretend that this was one of them, because I didn't do that form, but you would check off the signed one, so it does label it at the end that says signed. And then choose that.
Yeah, so this is where you're just going ahead and matching up each document.
You're matching up the ones with the names and everything like that. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yep, so if we're attaching 2 files here, we'll click attach. So now it shows that we have something in place. And the last part would just be then submitting it to the market center. So where that blue green button is where it says submit to MC, we'd go ahead.
Do they not agree?
Once we've submitted it, it's now been submitted to the market center. And Karen, Lisa, or Allison
I get
will
excited.
then receive it for review.
There's-
I did it.
You did it?
I did it. I just like went on this and just added what,
Single transaction, this came back.
it worked out
Exactly.
pretty good.
Oh, okay. So anything within Docusign that we kind of like to make a note of, but if you click sync transaction, it then shows that anything within like, any recent activity that's happened, the information will then sync over.
I
Question,
have a-
so, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, so once we're in the room, the Docusign rooms, and we got everything and everything's good, what is the reasoning of, I thought they were already sunk in, so we have to manually then just go on to command like this and just bring them down here?
Yes, you have to go back into command for compliance. So we're doing the compliance portion in command. So yes, you go back over into command and then you sync them over. You can add them. Actually, the sync portion here is brand new since last week. So you go back actually.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
You
Go
don't.
back and then sync that transaction back. Because that's actually new and we didn't put it in our trim yet. And then choose the forms that you needed to add over.
Ooh,
Add multiple forms.
it was like never ending, keeps going and going.
Well, we've submitted the documents for compliance to the market center. The last part would just be doing the offers and commissions tab.
Yeah.
So after your files have been submit, right next to where it says documents, we would click on offers and commissions.
This is the part where you get paid.
Yeah, so pay attention.
Yeah,
So if you want, you can add all of your offers here, but what we suggest is really just going forward with the accepted offer.
Yeah.
So if you want to leave it as initial offer, again, if you're going forward with attaching multiple offers here, go ahead. But if you want to rename this as accepted offer, we would also suggest that. So what we do is just click create offer. And this is where you fill out the offer details.
Keep kicking the table.
yeah.
So offer details, the date, the close date, the property address.
So this is replacing green sheets, you're saying?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
this is replacing green sheets.
All right, so there's, there's a give and take. What is that?
I can't even get.
Okay, so we've selected the property, we'll click parties.
I had forgotten because I've already done this.
All of again, same thing, anything with a red asterisk means that it just needed before going forward. So all you would need in this case is the buyer or the seller and the representative.
Mhm.
So just put in the associate's name and then we'll say that you're representing both parties. We'll go and click terms next. Another portion here, some of the parts, again, aren't really pertinent to New Jersey. So if you see something and you're a little confused, it probably has to do with like Texas law or something.
Mostly Texas.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. This stuff, like when it gets submitted for compliance and all this stuff, is this filled out by us or by our team, the admin on our team?
So it'll depend on your rainmaker, how they want to handle
Okay.
this of everything. For my team, I tell people just at least get this part started and then I do the double checking afterwards. So we'll get this part started, they put everything in. And then just,
My team just haven't seen.
and then for you, Victor, go see Jose. But yeah, it'll depend on your rainmaker, this part, how they want it processed.
Okay, thank you.
Last thing's agent analysis. So again, what are the pros and cons of each offer, but if this is the one that you're moving forward with, you don't need to fill anything out here, so you'll just click save.
Yeah, this is on the buy side. Actually, there's another part of the system that's not activated right now on the list side that'll make more sense to you later.
Real quick question, like right now you're in an individual mode, but for those that are on teams, is it set the default to a team or do they have to select and make sure that they're in the right frame before they go in and begin the process?
It'll actually start at the team level, I believe. I'll have to
Whichever's
look
the
at this
default
here.
account.
Yeah, whichever the default account that you're working in.
Yeah, like when I log in, automatic team comes on.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're defaulted to the team account. So
Okay.
yes, it'll
All right.
default to the team.
Yeah, because this way it makes it a little easier for them, so they don't have to, oh, I put it in the wrong spot.
And then you have to create.
And then you gotta redo it all over again. Yeah.
So if this is the accepted offer, we'll just click accept,
See default, you're right.
and then from here, we'll click manage commission. So this is where you would then fill out like the essential commission request. Anything that you wanna make note of?
So it's gonna ask for a contract date. So anything in red asterisk there, just make sure that it is put in. We'll just choose the date here.
You guys have this class like twice a week.
I think I've aged 30 years since I did it.
There's also various
Can
versions
you
of
do
this.
like beginners and advanced classes maybe? Like for example, like beginners obviously would start from adding contact, but advanced would be
Yeah.
more like dealing with this kind of stuff.
We can have a conversation about that. and
Yeah.
everything. All right,
Is,
so
is contract date the day it goes on the contract or the closing date?
the day that it goes on a contract.
Okay. All right, just making sure.
And that's a close date. That'll be a very quick transaction.
3 days.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, you can also add another agent. The only thing that we want to make note of in this area is if you are kind of working with another agent, what needs to be changed is the agent units. So in this portion, for all of commissions, the total units needs to equal 1. So if this was a transaction with Kevin and Pat, he would then just have to go back and make sure that his side also says 0.5.
So we'll change that.
So anything where it says agent units exceeds 1, you would just need to go back and then recalculate.
And we'll just change that back.
And once you click calculate commission, it does update as you go. And I think the last thing that we want to bring attention to is when people ask about the MLSs. So if we click edit agent payment and we scroll all the way to the bottom where it says extra payment options, you would then either specify if it was a deduction or a bonus.
Oh, no, or inside referral, outside referral, if somebody referred 25% referral, right, you get?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
So for referrals, say in-house, you would just add another agent to.
Yeah, you just add another agent to it,
And
whatever.
whatever that external, then there's a tab in there.
And
I'm
the-
assuming somewhere.
It said outside referral
Yeah,
I
it
believe,
did.
as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
But if is in-house considered like say another KW, but from another office that's outside, right?
That would be
Or it's
outside.
outside, yeah, like
because it's
Market
not-
Center.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's from like say Sparta, that's inside.
No, they
That
would
would
be
be outside.
They would be
outside.
outside too?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, even though.
They're
oh,
a
okay.
different
Yep.
entity essentially.
Yeah, Business Center and Market Center are separate entities.
So what is Sparta called? It's not KWP?
Mm,
No, it's gonna be its own market.
KWS?
Whatever.
Kennewood
they're-
will be a business. center.
Yeah,
Oh, so Kenna would be KWP?
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so then over on the right hand side, it gives you the full commission breakdown. If everything looks good, what you would then do is you would also submit that. It's just gonna ask if you wanna make a donation as well, which if you don't want to, you would just click skip donation for either side. And then what you would do is you would just click submit. And your commission request has now been sent to, again, Lisa and Allison. so that they would go back. Anytime, if your documents or your commission request has been accepted or returned, next to the name at the top right-hand corner, there's like a little bell icon. Anytime that any activity has happened, a little red circle will be on that bell, and it will tell you any activity that has happened. So any questions? I know it was a lot that we covered, but any questions at the moment that any of you have? Going once, going twice,
3 times a week.
2.5, sold to the recording that will be posted on YouTube. Okay, so thank you guys for coming. I know that, again, like the transition will be a little overwhelming at first, but it's one step at a time. This will be recorded to our YouTube page, and in the chance that you have any questions, please make sure to reach out to us. So once again, thanks, and
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.